They come from all walks of life: tradesmen, soldiers, a student teacher, a financial analyst, an aspiring lawyer. They gather on the internet to strategize and seek pathways into mainstream politics. They are anti-Semitic, anti-immigrant, Islamophobic, sexist, and racist. They are the new far-right in Canada. The Globe and Mail has obtained a trove of 150,000 messages posted between February 2017 and early 2018 that reveal chats between a loosely aligned group of Canadian right-wing extremists. The discussions were originally on a text and voice application called Discord. The Globe viewed them through an application that could display text and image history. The messages were given to the Globe and Mail by Montreal-based anti-fascists. The chats celebrate Nazism, joke about the Holocaust, and proudly recall racist, sexist, and homophobic behavior on the part of participants. A notable theme throughout the chat was to hide their true beliefs in daily life and appear less extreme to aid recruitment and gain widespread acceptance.
I know from my own work, not just my recent work, but going back 20 years or more, that that's not necessarily a new process. That this is something that ebbs and flows and is cyclical, depending on where the movement is at a particular time. When it's on the upswing, as we see now, they're sort of feeling their strength, and they want that to grow and to expand. So those are the times when you're likely to see them sort of not step back from the ideology, but step back from that real blatant displays of the symbols and all those visible signs. We saw it in the 80s and the 90s with David Duke, as long ago as that, when he said to the Klan, essentially, throw off your white robes, right, and put on your business suits, as a way to cloak themselves in legitimacy and credibility, to sort of sanitize their presentation. And I think that's what we're seeing now.
The roughly 180 members of the group do more than simply talk online. They meet in person, spread propaganda, and encourage each other to recruit and expand the movement. They have also attempted to infiltrate Canadian political parties. They purchase weapons and discuss training.
This is something of a new trend, this tendency to be so heavily armed and to represent themselves as heavily armed as well. In the past, there had been some groups that, presented themselves in violent ways, through those sorts of images. It cuts across multiple groups now. And even those that emerge as, groups that seem relatively benign, they've got the ideology, and over time, they seem to have sort of moved in this direction. Again, the fact that we're seeing so much engagement from former and current military and law enforcement personnel, apparently within the movement, I think that is worrying as well. So now what we've got is this deadly combination of people who are armed and trained to use those arms in tactical and offensive and defensive ways, and then that combined with the xenophobia, the negative ideologies. That's a very dangerous combination, I think.
Far-right violence is not new to Canada. In New Brunswick in 2014, 3 police officers were killed by a far-right extremist, and a shooting at a Quebec City mosque in January 2017 left 6 people dead. In both cases, the men convicted of the killings had been radicalized online. It's clear that an internet-based extremist subculture has spread across the globe. What to do about it will be an urgent question for both politicians and for the leaders of some of the world's biggest social media companies. The group chats obtained by the Globe provide insight into who and what is behind this movement, and a sober reminder that Canada is among the global breeding grounds for new far-right hate.